and it really burns. It really burns. Ah, ah, ah. Hello friends. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a full body workout that does not require equipment. Now, if you have a resistance band or a set of dumbbells, feel free to use them, but this workout can be done either way, so I got you covered. This workout, I'm gonna have it written down in the description box below, but you can perform it two different ways. So the first way would be to do it just like a set and then a rest. And a set and then a rest. So for example, the first exercise is single leg foot elevated glute bridge. So you could do a set, say you do 20 reps, and then you could rest, and then you could do that exercise again and rest, you know, so straight sets. Or you could perform it like a circuit. So you could do the single leg foot elevated bridge, and then you could do the seated resistance band row, so on, so on, so on, and then you would rest and then restart. So whichever way you prefer is fine. Either way, you just wanna make sure that you are keeping record of what you are doing in this workout and forcing yourself, or not forcing yourself, but trying to get stronger the next time you do this workout. So you do need to have some consistency to see better results. You don't want to just be doing random movements every time. You're going to maintain your muscle mass a lot better if you have this type of structure. It's going to give you better results. So yeah, that is one thing. Keep track of what you're doing. Try to always improve when you can. The other thing that you want to do is just don't follow every rep range that's listed as if it has to be. Because these exercises are either body weight or very low weight, the rep ranges are gonna be different for everybody. For somebody, 10 reps of a body weight squat might feel challenging, and for another person, they might have to do like 30. So basically just push so you are going close to failure. Always maintain good form, and that's how you know you're doing enough reps. So this workout is from an upcoming challenge that I'm gonna be putting out very soon. So if you like it, keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes peeled. So now, let's get into the workout. We will be starting off with a warm-up. Woohoo! Woohoo! Okay, so we're still going to start off with some glute activation. So if you have a band, you definitely want to wear it for this. If you don't, that's okay. You can just do this without the band. So basically what this is just warming up our legs. So we're ready to just crush the workout. So we're gonna start with squats. So you wanna do enough that you feel like you're warming up the muscle, but not getting overly fatigued. So it's like you're waking up the glutes, you're not tiring them out yet. So I'll do like 15 to 20. And then next, I move on to a bridge style movement. Okay, and then for the bridges, same thing, 15 to 20, really pushing against the band with your knees. And then you want to do a kickback style movement. So again, all of these do work even if you don't have a band. You would just want to make sure you're squeezing extra if you have no band. And for these, you always want to make sure you're keeping your back straight. You don't want to be like arching it, because that's just putting all the pressure on your back. So you want to keep it more neutral, and then you squeeze your core. Okay, and then if you have a band, you can add like some type of abduction type movement. So I would usually do, well again, this can still be done without a band, just really, really squeeze so it still feels challenging. Out of breath. Okay, so you're going to just, same thing. By now, sometimes if you're feeling a bit more fatigued, you might even only want to do 10 of these. And the other side. Okay, and then we warm up our upper body. Okay, so for our upper body warm-ups, I always start with a rotation. So if you have a lighter resistance band, that would be perfect. If not, you can do this with like a small set of dumbbells, even just a light, like household item, like a can of soup. So if you have nothing to wrap your band around, you can hold one with one arm and then just do the exercise. So the motion is like this. So if you have nothing to put it on, just hold it, anchor it down to your side, and then move back and forth you wanting to keep the arm really stable against your upper body. You don't want to be like all over the place with it. So this is just going to warm up the shoulder joint. Obviously you want to make sure you're doing the same amount on each side, which I am probably not doing right now because I'm talking, but that's okay. Okay, you'll do that one. Then you can also do like one for your rear delts, so you can do pull aparts. So you're just pulling apart, basically so your elbows are parallel to your shoulders. So sideways, and then like that. So that's another one. Again, I'll do like 15 to 20 reps of that. And then if you have light dumbbells, or again, a light household item, because this is still just a warm up, you can do just lateral raises, just to, again, we're just trying to warm them up, because when you're pushing hard during a workout, if you are not warmed up, you risk injury, and you're not even gonna have as good of a workout. So for this, again, when you're starting to feel fatigued, it's the same as glute activation. This shouldn't be like difficult where you're going to failure. It's just to wake up the muscle. So that is good for that. That is our glute and our shoulder warm up. Okay, so first exercise of the workout is single leg foot elevated glute bridges. So you can grab anything sturdy. So I have a chair, and you're just gonna rest your foot on the chair and then bridge up. So you really wanna push through your heel and squeeze at the top of the movement. And if you have a dumbbell, you can put one on your hip. This is a little bit of a high elevation to have a dumbbell, because it kind of just starts to roll back. Actually, it still kind of works. So that's an option as well. An alternative to that, if that one hurts your back, I know some people just don't feel as comfortable with the feet elevated, you can stay on the ground and you can do a B stance hip thrust. So for that, or this is a glute bridge, not a hip thrust, you keep the one foot planted, and then the other one, your heel is gonna just be resting just to help you balance. So rather than going full single leg, you're just using it just to kind of anchor you in the right position, and then you're gonna focus mostly on the leg that's on the ground. So if you you'd want to think of it like 70%, like this leg is not doing much, and then you squeeze. So this one's actually quite challenging as well, even though you're not getting as large of a range of motion. And you could also put the dumbbell on your hip too. So another key thing is when you don't have as heavy weight as usual, you just have to think of really squeezing, like more mind muscle connection than ever. So like, I'm not just gonna go up and down like just like casually, like really squeeze. Like you have to like squeeze like so hard that you're shaking. So that's gonna make up for any lack of resistance. Okay, so now we are doing seated resistance band rows. So I'm gonna show two different types. So depending on which type of band you have, you can do that variation. So one is, if you have a mini band, you're just going to pull it towards you and back. So you have to really brace your entire body when you do this, because you don't want to be pulling your leg back. And yeah, so really brace, like you squeeze your butt, brace your abs, and then so squeeze, and then pull. And then you really want to make sure it's controlled. Again, like squeeze at the top and then slowly lower. Okay, so obviously we would do that on the other side. Same, make sure you always do the same amount of reps on both sides. And then if you have a band like this, you can do the same idea. Now, if you have nothing to loop it around, you can literally just do it around your feet and just pull. And again, you really have to brace your whole body because your feet might want to start coming up. So same thing, hold and slowly lower. And then if you have something you can loop the band around, you can do that instead. So any household like sturdy object. So we got this, and then same thing. It just kind of gives you a bit more range of motion. So let's pull back and lower, lower, slowly, and pull, and lower, lower. So again, no matter which variation you're doing, you just want to squeeze, squeeze, and then slowly lower. And then of course you want to make sure you're keeping your back straight. So again, it's like practically a core exercise because you're just bracing. So you wouldn't want to slouch, you wouldn't want to lean back too far. You're just keeping it straight and then pulling. So it's not the same. When I do this with a heavy weight, I do use a little bit more range of motion, but if you do that with a resistance band, it's gonna just completely ruin the exercise. So make sure it's very controlled no matter which way you are doing it. Okay, next we are doing split squats. So you'll need a chair or anything sturdy that you can rest your leg on. And then you're gonna put your back leg up and then jump out a little bit and then just lower down and come up. So if you do need to hold on to something, just do this near something that you can hold on to so you don't fall. And then again, if you have dumbbells, you could use dumbbells as well. And if you don't, or even if you do have dumbbells but they're not that heavy, again, to make this exercise feel more challenging, you want to just be thinking of squeezing like crazy. And then another thing is don't come all the way up. Again, when you have weight, that's challenging, but when you don't have weight, you're just losing tension and then it's not making it as hard for a body weight exercise. So instead of doing this, I'm going like this. Like I'm not coming all the way up. I'm stopping here, I'm squeezing, and then I'm lowering right back down so I don't get any rest. So it's very constant tension. And you can do constant tension while moving slowly as well. And it really burns. It really burns. Okay, so next we are doing tricep dips. So we got our chair again, and you're just going to keep your hands on the edge of the chair. For me, it's more comfortable if I don't have too wide of a grip. And then you can put your feet out, thinking of squeezing your shoulder blades together and then lowering down and up. So for this one, how difficult it is really depends on your fitness level. So do enough reps that you feel challenged and maybe like you had one more left, like one more rep left in you. So it's going almost to failure. And then that's how many reps you do. So maybe that's 4, maybe that's 10, maybe you're a beast and that's 30, who knows? So that is your dips. Okay, so next is a plank shoulder tap. So the form is very important on this one. I mean, it is for everything, but there's a lot of little different things to think about. So first thing is you're in a plank position. So you don't want your butt up. You don't want it dropping down. You just want it like neutral. You want to, actually for this, you kind of need a bit of a wider stance. And then what you're gonna do is brace your whole body and then tap your opposite shoulder. So I'm gonna turn around so you can see that. But when you tap your shoulder, you don't want your hips to move. So you wanna keep them as still as you can. So again, depending on your level, you may twist a bit, but you wanna keep it to a minimum. Like you wanna stay still. So even if that means you can only do a few reps, that's fine. It's about quality over quantity for this exercise in particular. And this is what the front view looks like. So if you are having difficulties staying stable, just make your stance wider. Like if I have a narrow stance, it's a bit more difficult. Whereas if I have a bit of a wider stance, it feels a bit easier. Ta-da! Okay, so this is a single leg pistol squat. Now, this is to work up to a pistol squat. I'm not gonna make you do them all on their own. So you're doing it onto a chair. So what you're doing is planting a foot, and then it can help with your balance if you just kind of put your arms straight up, just keep them braced, and then you're going to slowly lower, so you're not just gonna drop, slowly lower, and then come back up. And then you can put your front foot down for balance if you need. So lower, and up. And then just like get a nice little squeeze. Woo. And then always make sure you do the same amount on the other side. So when I'm lowering down, I'm not like getting too comfy. Like I'm keeping some tension still. I'm not like being like, okay, a nice rest. Like it's not like a pause. It's not nothing like that. So you just hold, and I'm still kind of really squeezing here and then standing back up. So make sure you keep that in mind. And it's gonna be challenging. Okay, so next exercise is lateral raises. So if you don't even have dumbbells at all, no fear. I have a method for you. But if you do have dumbbells, use whatever weight is good for you. So I have like, if I was doing them, I would not actually be using these. I have a 10-pound pair at 15, so I'd use one of those depending on the rep range. So if you have dumbbells, and if the weight is appropriate, definitely use them. And then if you don't, you can, so this is 2 pounds here. So you could use a soup can for that instead. So what you're gonna do is, to make it feel hard, it's almost like you're picturing invisible weight. You really, really wanna squeeze. So I'm gonna squeeze my shoulder blades down behind me, really squeeze my lats, really brace my entire body, and then slowly raise up. And then go back down. So it's like you're really squeezing and resisting on the way up. So like I'm shaking right now just because I'm squeezing so hard. Like it feels so funny. Like it looks like I'm like pretending to make it look hard. But that's what you can do to actually make it difficult if you do not have anything heavy. If you have like laundry detergent bottles, even if you just have one, you could do single arm lateral raises. But this technique is something that you can do if you have nothing heavy. You could literally do this with body weight, and you're still getting some muscle activation from it. Like obviously it's not amazing, but it's enough that it can at least maintain your muscle mass that you already have. Okay, so the last exercise is a side lying hip raise. So what you're gonna do is lay on your side, and then you're gonna keep your knee bent at like a 90 degree, your elbow bent, and then you're going to raise up your hips, and then you're gonna raise your top leg, and then you're gonna lower back down and then squeeze up. So you can kind of experiment with what range of motion you like. You can move straight up and down like this, or you can kind of like move back and forward with it. So either way works. Just make sure you're really keeping that tension. And you could do this with a resistance band as well. These are actually quite challenging, so when I do it with a band, I keep the band higher up, just because if it's lower down, it feels harder. And then obviously, you do the other side. So this is if I'm just going straight up, really squeezing at the top. And with this exercise, both legs are working. So honestly, more so the bottom one than the top. If you have a band, both legs are working quite a bit, but either way, it's a lot of the bottom leg because you're really using it to push your body up. So this is straight up, and then you could also go kind of, like I said, kind of back and down. Whew. Okay, so for the end of the workout, you can do a finisher. So this is a burnout glute finisher. So if you have a band, you want to use it. If you do not have a band, that is okay. So the purpose of this is just to get like a nice glute pump to just end off your workout on a good note. So you want to be moving for 2 to 3 minutes straight, just continuously. If you have to take little rests because you feel you can't last that long, that's totally fine. Just work up to it over time, but that's the goal. So we have 3 different exercises that we're just going to keep repeating. So first one is the feet elevated glute bridges. So we're elevating our feet, and then you can set a timer and do this for 30 seconds. So make sure you're really squeezing against the band, if you have one, with your knees, and then just squeezing up with your glutes. And then after it's been 30 seconds, you're gonna just put your feet on the ground and do regular glute bridges. So these aren't as difficult as the feet elevated variation. So it's kind of like doing a drop set, like they're gonna feel harder because they're coming after the other set. So you would do these for 30 seconds. And then once that's been done for 30 seconds, you can do kickbacks. So either 30 seconds per leg, depending on your level, but even though it's timed, because it's single leg, I like to still count at the same time, because I don't want to be doing, say, 30 on this leg and 28 on this leg. So I still count. And sometimes one of the sets I end up finishing quicker, but the point is that we're doing the same amount of reps. So always do that, even if it's timed. My other leg. So then once I would finish this off, I would go right back to the beginning. So no rest at all, just because that is the purpose in a burnout. So you go right back into it. 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, and then you would be done. Okay, and that is it for the workout. Feel free to go on little walks on top of this. Just keeping up some type of activity is really, really important. Even if you're just walking a couple circles around the house, that's fine. I do that sometimes. So yeah, that is it. Stay tuned for my challenge that is coming out very, very soon. It's going to be a transformation contest, and it's going to be really exciting, and more details will be coming very, very soon. So that is it. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this workout, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!